What is that?
Alright guys, the room is clean.
And we just got a call about a baby bird. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back aboard the Ark. I mean, nothing new going on. Another day, another donation tank to go pick up. So let's get on the road. And we're here. We've arrived. They're going to be about 10 minutes late, they said, I think. Something popped up and they had to go run and do that, which is completely fine because they're making a donation. I'm just picking it up. So I don't mind waiting a little bit. It gives me time to talk and get you guys kind of caught up. We've had a ton of support and growth in the past week, and we're on week 2 now. So really exciting stuff. This video will be out week 3, this very beginning of week 3. It'll be Monday, most likely. Well, it was supposed to be Monday, but I got preoccupied recording next week's video, which I know I'm recording ahead, but yeah, it's going to be out on Wednesday. Sorry for the delay. So yeah, crazy stuff. If the Terrarium Vivarium build hasn't come out yet, then be expecting that very soon after this video because it's done now. The next build is, I think I'm going to either tackle the 33 gallon, the cube, the Reptizoo cube that we got, or I'm going to tackle that 40 gallon breeder. I want to do one of the bigger tanks. As I am reaching out to people about bringing in ambassador animals, I do not buy my animals. Hence the sanctuary. All my animals come in as donations or rehomes, anything like that. You know, just people who no longer have the capability to take care of them, or people who were told they can't take care of them. They end up giving those animals to me, and that's how I get my animals. Well, there has been a vast influx of animals online, and you know, people always want rehoming fees and all kinds of crazy stuff for animals that they really can't take care of. Like, it's crazy. Here's some pictures. Yeah, crazy stuff. On that note, if you know anybody who needs to rehome something, reach out to us on our email. It's reach out to us on our email at sanctuarytheark@gmail.com. It'll be linked in the description. Let me know and we can see what we can work out. I'm trying to broaden my horizons a little bit and start to bring in some ambassador animals to start educating and teaching people about, you know, why these things make good pets or why they should not be pets. The goal is, one, to give these animals the care they truly need. I'd say about 98% of the time they're getting the minimal required care, or they're just not getting what they need at all. Yet again, that'll be in the description. Utilize that if you need help. I have never shamed anyone for having to rehome or rehabilitate or donate, as I've gotten donations and rehomes before from great people. I mean, they're great people. They just don't understand. A lot of the time, people get these animals and they don't realize how much they really require or how much they can be, which is why we do our research. Yeah, reach out through the Gmail. What is that? Does that car have lashes? All right, they just came and dropped off the tank. You can kind of see it back there. So it's about time we get back on the road and start heading home. We got a 2-hour drive ahead of us, so let's go. And we're home, and nothing like 4 hours of road trip to start your day off. So let's get this tank inside and see where we go next. So, as I had mentioned earlier on in the video, we had finished our first bioactive terrarium setup. If you're unaware, I did a Vivaria build for the papaya isopods, and it did really well. I mean, I mean, look at the numbers. Over 1,000 views in a week, pretty much. It's crazy. Thank you guys so much. I don't know what else to say, but I can promise there will be plenty more of where that came from. So if you're not subscribed, you should really subscribe. Anyways, as I was saying, this build was awesome. I had an absolute blast, and as you can see from the stock footage, it turned out beautiful. And this is only the first bioactive build, and it's been doing pretty well, and I'll give you some updates on that later. Alright, sorry for the jump in. We just got a call about a baby bird that had fallen, and if you guys know, I don't take in baby birds, so the best we can do is, I told him the best thing you could possibly do is reach out to rehabilitators. So I gave a couple of my people that I know a call, and they had told me, they were like, it's just growing in its feathers, it definitely still needs to be in a nest, but they can't really take them in. The closest one was about a 6-hour drive, so being kind of out of options, the best thing they told me is they were like, he had to have just fallen out, because 4th of July just happened, so they're like, with all the rain and stuff we just got, they had to have just fallen out. So look and see if you can find the nest. The people couldn't find it, so I'm going to look and see if I can find it. And if worst comes to worst, there's no nest, I made a little makeshift nest. It's got holes in the bottom so it can drain, and I just filled it with pine straw and leaves, like, you know, a bird's nest would be made out of. So I'm heading there now. It's at a business, so I think they were looking in the trees and not really like the sides or tops of the building, which is very likely, being, you know, birds, they nest in the most crazy places. So we're gonna go see if we can help save this bird, because I don't want to just leave it. They don't want to leave it on the ground, and I was like, I'm certainly not leaving it on the ground. So let's go see what we can do, and yeah, I'll get back with you guys. I just wanted to let you guys know that it's never ending here. Always a new event and a new journey, and today we're messing with birds. So the person who actually gave me a call about the bird was that gorgeous, hardworking woman on the left, which is my girlfriend. And I can certainly say without a doubt that this bird would not have made it if I was not called over. So she deserves all the credits for this. I just showed up and did what I do. The nest was in this crevice above like the overhang. Like I said, birds are weird and they nest in the craziest spots. I stuck around for about 30 minutes and Mama Bird came back, so all's well that ends well. Holy cow, we got an incredible donation, so I'll show you all of it. Let's get inside the house first. Holy cow, what a workout that was, and what a donation. I'm gonna show you everything here in just a second, but I'm so appreciative. Michael, thank you so much. If you're watching this, he did get the YouTube link, so he might be watching this. If you are, please comment below so anyone watching this can thank you as well, because unreal donation, and he gave me a discount on racks. As you guys know, here in the sanctuary room, we just have tanks sitting on the floor because we're out of rack space. So rather than building one, he gave me a huge discount on a huge rack system. So we're gonna put that together here in a second after I show you what all we got. Let's go. So as I said, huge donation. Starting right here, we have 4 10-gallon tanks, 4 of them. And if you saw behind, I believe it's a 20 or a 30-gallon tank. So just bigger than the 10s. Insane behind. And then on this back wall, a 55-gallon, I think is what he said. It's just it just towers. It is huge. And then the shelves, they're bigger than the 55-gallon. So yeah, like Animal Sanctuary just got a huge upgrade. I know more empty tanks. Like what am I gonna do with more empty tanks? But I'll find a use. I'll find something. But the main problem as of recently, and I've stated it in previous videos, is storage space. Like, we have such a limited room right now. We're starting brand new from scratch. We have such a limited space. So making everything fit in here that we want to fit in here has been a task. But we have shelving for our 40-gallon. We have shelving for our 40-gallon breeder now. Shelving for future tanks. I mean, like the perfect outcome today. So I'm incredibly blessed. Could not thank Michael enough. So yeah, let's get this rack put together so we can get this stuff out of the kitchen before I get in trouble. Okay, scratch that. So I knew this day would be coming. I knew we were going to have to upgrade the sanctuary at some point. I did not expect it to be within the first 2 weeks of having the sanctuary to already be upgrading spaces, but we got to upgrade spaces. So tomorrow, channel friend Joey is gonna be here to help us move. I have another room in the house that we're gonna be flipping. It's slightly bigger. This room's 9 by 10. The other room's like 12 by 12, so it's substantially bigger. This room's a rectangle and that one's a square, so it's way more beneficial. It's gonna be greater in the long run. But look at the sanctuary. If you could even call that, it kind of looks like a hoarder's closet. Yeah, so that's gonna have to happen. I did not expect it to happen so soon. It's a good thing. Like, it means we're growing at a rate that I couldn't have even fathomed. So thank you guys so much for your support. I think I've done good, so I'm gonna have me an ice cream sandwich, do my fundraising for the night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow when we gotta move all that stuff. Alright, in another 2 weeks we'll be moving to the next room. I wanted to start out by thanking Joey because none of this would have been possible without him. Literally messaged him like the day before this, saying, hey, I need some help, and he dropped everything and came to help. So yeah, cannot thank him enough. Here's a link to his Twitch, go follow. Okay, anyways, why did I do this? Why did I drag him over here and we do all of this? Well, it's kind of simple. We outgrew the room. When I got the new shelving, it's 6-foot shelving, and I realized it's not gonna work. You can see kind of how I'm looking at this room. Oh, hi, Debbie. Anyway, if you're unaware, I was a musician for 10 years, and so I have a music room and or a studio, and the goal for today was to completely swap the sanctuary in the studio room. Challenging part about this is I play a bunch of instruments and a lot of them are very heavy, such as the 2 pianos we had to wheel into this room. The other big challenge was our Euromastix tank is approximately I believe it's like 540 pounds. So yeah, you can see us look at this and question if it was even going to be possible. And it didn't take very long, as you could imagine, to realize that this was not going to happen. So next best solution, because we needed to clear this room to get the piano in, was take literally everything out of the tank. And of course, I've had to do this 100 different times, moving this tank around, so it was quick and easy. We pulled Anakin and Padme out here. If you own reptiles, you should always have a quarantine tank or a tank that you can move your animals into if something happens. So of course, I had one ready and prepared, so I moved them in.
He was so asleep. Good morning.
After I got them in my bedroom situated to hopefully not stress them out too much, we finished removing the rest of the tanks and things from the room and began to move the heavier objects from the studio in. This was kind of draining because there was a lot of stuff, but we got it done.
Alright guys, the room is clean.
Kind of tying into the title, we rebuilt the entire sanctuary from scratch. So the hardest part about this was, of course, getting a good layout to at least start us out. As we continue to grow and take up more of this room, the layout's going to change a couple of times, but I wanted to start out with something strong that would stick for at least a little while. And after changing the hardest light bulb to change known to mankind, we began with some sort of stand for the Euromastix tank. Previous problems I've had is being on the floor. It was very hard to do things as I had to get on the floor to do it. And while I had the chance, I wanted to get this tank situated because it's over 500 pounds and I will not be able to do this by myself. So we had this old dresser outside that I made sure was going to be able to support the weight, and it was able to support it perfectly, and it looked really good and I liked it. So it became the stand for the Euromastix tank. And of course, we also brought the shelving in to try to start to get a layout there. Like I said, this tank is super obnoxious to deal with, and they have an upgrade coming very, very soon. This 120 gallon was their starter tank. If you don't know Anakin and Padme's story, it's super tragic, and I believe I've talked about it on a couple occasions, but if you'd like to see a video about that, let me know down below and I'll work on that. The build of their permanent home is coming sometime in the nearby future, as these reptiles are super special to me and they're kind of the ones that started the sanctuary, so that'll be a project coming up in the nearby future. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, while I had this monster of a tank here, I kind of wanted to go ahead and do some permanent upgrades and things that would have taken me a lot longer if I just decided to wait on it. So I proceeded to spend probably an hour, if not a little more than that, working on scaping their tank out, and I took great pride in this, using a lot of different rocks and things, and I still have a couple upgrades I need to make to this day, but I got it very, very upgraded. Euromastix love to hide, they love to climb, and they love to burrow. They're desert animals, so you gotta think, where they're from, it's very, very rocky. I have always given them underground tunnels and things pre-made, so I never had to worry about them hurting themselves or anything collapsing on them, and that's what I did again, but I made a lot of tweaks and upgrades as I'm continuing to learn their personalities and what they prefer. I added so many rocks. That tub of rocks on the bottom by my leg, I pretty much used the entire thing. They now have probably 10 times the amount of hides and burrows that they had before, which is incredible, and they absolutely love it. I've caught them burrowing between the rocks and digging out little tunnels and things that I didn't even think they could possibly do, and they have found things to do. So their enrichment is at an all-time high now, but I'm going to go ahead and skip past the rest of this part as you'll see a little bit more on that later. The next step was to get the second set of the 6-foot shelving in, and we kind of determined if we wanted to stack it all the way up or make two different sections, and for now, until we get more shelving, it seemed to be best to just go ahead and keep it how it is and keep them two separate sections. If you've never dealt with shelving like this before, it can be really easy like it was to get the first one together, or it could be the most difficult process ever like the second set was. These shelves have to be incredibly secure as it's got to be able to support a lot of tank weight, so we made sure not to make a single mistake and make these things super, super locked into each other. We spent probably about an hour to maybe even 2 hours just sitting here hammering these shelves in. It's just really annoying. These little plastic pieces sometimes just slip out, and it doesn't even make sense why they do sometimes, but you just got to roll with it and do what you can do, and we made it work in the end. Yet again, I have probably about 2 hours of footage from this, so I'm going to kind of speed up and skip past the rest of this because it was just a process, and I'm kind of traumatized, and I don't really want to talk about it. And as you saw yesterday, we got a crazy donation, and we have to clean the tanks before I'm really comfortable just going and putting them on the new shelves. This didn't take too long. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in the tanks that was kind of nasty, and just, leftover sand and stuff, but nothing a good washing doesn't fix. It's worth noting that every single one of these tanks will get a proper chemical wipe before any life will be put into them, just to make sure there's no mold or any bacteria or anything from previous animals. And that's just something I wanted to note because it's something you should do as well if you get donation tanks or any sort of tank from, really anybody, because you don't know what's been in it or what's growing in it.
So we just washed the tanks. Yummy.
So after getting all the shelves in, we realized we still had the 90-gallon cube that we had completely forgot about. So we started by originally putting it in this corner because, I thought that was going to look the best. But Very short realization and glance, realized it was going to need to go in the complete opposite corner so the shelving could still do what we kind of wanted it to do. So we ultimately came up with this L-shaped design that I thoroughly enjoyed, and of course we'll put another tree in the corner so it won't just be a dead open space. As I said, these shelves are incredibly difficult when they want to be. If you hadn't noticed, the shelf to our right had already completely dropped on the left after we thought we had securely got it situated. I didn't realize this till later on, and of course we fix it and we resituate it, but a lot of these shelves ended up just being beat to literally death. We had to beat these little plastic pieces in so far that there was literally zero chance that they were ever going to come undone. So we had to use some note cards and other things to make like the basing level because we had to. As frustrating as it was, it didn't take too long, so let's get past the rest of this. And this was the finalized look after getting all the tanks situated in place of about where they were going to go. And that brings you to now. As you can see, it's a little echoey in here. I apologize for that, but it'll get filled up with stuff. The sanctuary is done, and what a task that was. And it is crazy to think in 2 weeks we have already had to have such a crazy, like, substantial upgrade. So let me give you a little tour. Of course, it is Tuesday now, so big time jump. Over the weekend, the reason the video didn't get out on Monday, we took a trip to an aquarium, insectarium kind of thing, and that is going to be for another video, but it was so incredibly awesome and super exciting. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming out. That'll probably be next week's video because it was incredible. But anyways, let's get to the room tour because I'm sure you're very curious how it ended up looking. So this is kind of how the room looks right now. It's still a little cluttered, and of course there's not enough plants and greenery. There's not enough things being covered. The walls are still barren. I mean, they're going to get covered at some point, but you know, it's better than what it was, and it serves its purpose. We have our little workstation right now. In the future, I plan on building a custom desk with a tank that will go under, so that'll be a project for, you know, another day down the future when we start making a little bit of revenue and things. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I like my little workstation. It has everything I need. I need to do my calendars and my to-do list for, you know, feeding and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good little station. It's got a lot of storage under, so it really works out. My favorite part is actually this. My scaping closet. It has all of our bags, all of our natural rocks, wood, cork bark, all the things I source from outside. After it gets cleaned, I can put it in here to store it. So then when I'm searching for certain kinds of things, it's all already organized. And yeah, it's awesome. So then moving on to the, you know, of course, the tank side of the room, the thing everybody cares about. Of course, Anakin and Padme's tank. You can't really see in there right now, but you can see all the rocks and things I was talking about earlier. I have a better video on my TikTok or my YouTube Shorts. Go check it out. They have so much space in there. Like, it's unreal because they're not fully grown. They're both still juveniles. So they have a stupid amount of space for the size they are right now. And they're going to get upgraded at some point, but it'll probably be a little bit as we wait for them to grow into it. But yeah, got everything fully electrical set up. And this cabinet, it's empty right now. I actually didn't have to put anything in it, but we have all of this storage for whenever we need it. These I actually picked up. They were donated by my girlfriend's mom. I thought we could do something cool with them. They would be little terrariums. Probably not going to put anything living in it except maybe a cleanup crew at most. But yeah, I mean, it's just super cool. I think it'll be, you know, cool little display things that are real and natural rather than plastic plants. Starting with our vertical shelf, you'll see all of the longer tanks. Of course, the current setup is not permanent. I just kind of set everything on shelves just to make sure that everything would fit in the room. As you can see, we've already capped out again on our shelf space, so we're gonna have to get another shelf soon, but you know, we have the space for it now. We have our millipede enclosure up top, which is getting a complete redo. It might end up being our next video because those guys deserve a good home as they've been great to me. So yeah, complete redo coming soon on that. Then the next shelf. We have this tank that we picked up that actually it has like a heating area up top, like a heating mesh for a bulb. So something cool's gonna go in there. I was thinking like death fang beetles, something, another insect. It's too small to put a reptile in, but very interesting, very cool. Then we have this slide out that actually housed my Uromastics while we were moving the tanks. This is either going to stay my quarantine tank or I'm going to turn it into something yet again cool. Not sure what yet. I believe it's a 33 gallon, so do with that as you will. And then the bottom shelves, we have a 20 gallon and a 10-gallon tank with my other isopods that, of course, are waiting for their forever home. I have three more species of isopods. Two of them being morphs and one of them just being the natural variant of roly-polies. So pretty much three more of these 10 gallons are going to get turned into isopod tanks. And then, of course, the big haul from that pickup was this 55-gallon tank. I mean, it's incredible. I was thinking something arboreal that's small because this would be a phenomenal, like, huge tank for them. Some sort of gecko, maybe. I think they would absolutely thrive in there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or we could do some sort of aquarium fish. I haven't really done too much in the aquatics world. I've done a little bit, but not too much. So I would have to do a lot of research and learning, but I think it'll be cool. If you're an aquatics expert, let me know where I should start with that, because that's something I'm kind of worried about, because I have a lot of tanks that need to be really fish, because nothing in the living world outside of a cleanup crew could really live in it. So let me know what you're thinking, and yeah, leave me some suggestions. Moving to the next shelf, we have two 10 gallons. These are just temporary placed right there. I'm probably going to get some sort of racking that will go either above this or we'll get a whole nother shelf for right here. And these 10 gallons will move then. We have our soil millipedes on top. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, wait. Oh, you might be able to see one right there. Let me zoom in. They're in there. I can see them moving around, but they just got fed, so they're all out right now crawling around. There's a ton of them in there. Video on them soon. I haven't really shown them off. They're awesome. We also have this tank. I'm not even really sure what it is. I think it's a 33 gallon. It's kind of a cube. No lid. I think it's Reptizoo. Very interesting tank. It was in when we picked up these three tanks all together. Our springtail colonies are currently just sitting in there because I kind of ran out of shelf space, but yet again, interesting tank. I don't know what is even gonna go in here. I haven't even thought about it, so that's a thought for another day. But yeah, cool tank. I really like it. Front opening. It's the only front opening tank we have other than the Euros, so interesting. Flipping over here, this is where we have the most things set up. Yet again, my girlfriend's mom hooked up a ton of plants. We have some prickly pear cactus. There's some, I believe it's holly cactus, some sort of, the thinner cactus varieties. There's it's a Dracalia, something like that. I can't ever pronounce that word. I know what it is, but I can't pronounce the word. And then on the bottom, we have a bunch of tropical plants. As you can see, I have them split up by, ones that need a little bit less sun, and then they have their own plant light down there for the tropical plants. It stays a little more humid in there. Yeah. So kind of our plant quarantine setup. Those are all getting quarantined for a future build coming up. So yeah, you can take your guesses about what's going to go where, just, for fun. Down here, we have our 40-gallon breeder tank. This is going to be awesome. I believe it's going to house a leopard gecko. It's one of my dream species. I haven't had a leopard gecko personally, but I've had friends that have had them. I've been around them a lot, and I think it's about time I got one of my own. So whenever a rescue comes around, or if somebody is willing to donate one to the sanctuary, it'll go in there and it's going to get a fully bioactive setup home. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, make sure to leave light space and all kinds of things for their UVB and stuff. But I think that's going to be an awesome build, and I have a feeling it's going to come sooner than we think. And then above that, the first bioactive tank in the room being our papaya isopods. You can't see it right now, but the inch plants have grown in incredible. Let me get a light on. So a little bit of a tank update. As you can see, these inch plants are already growing up. I mean, they are doing phenomenal. Both sides. This one that was tucked all the way in the ground in the corner is already climbing up the wall. I mean, they really are. Their name means what it is. They are growing incredibly fast. The fern, believe it or not, the fern has been adapting well. Of course, you can see It's starting to die on some parts, but that's expected when you put a fern in a new place, especially one that just got out of quarantine. So yeah, all plants really die as they, it's a stress thing. They die when they're first getting put into a tank, especially if it's a species that's not really used to it. So the fern, of course, is going through its wilting process, but it is healthy. I've checked the roots. It's still growing. It's healthy. It's got new sprouts at the bottom coming up. So yeah, fern's looking good. The moon pilea, on the other hand, has been a concern. It's a beautiful plant. I mean, I absolutely love it. It just does not seem to be doing very well in this environment. It's not as daylight heavy as the other plants are, so it may be something with that, but I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit and see what happens. If the whole thing just dies off, then it'll die off. But I will say the roots and the stem are perfectly healthy. It's just the leaves. So I feel like it's just going through a heavy stress period, and I don't really want to take it out until, I know I have to. Also, the moss is growing, so eventually this whole back wall and area is just going to be completely infested with that sphagnum moss. So yeah, the tank is doing really well overall. The isopods are thriving. All right, well, we'll leave them alone. Let me turn their light off. Yeah, let's leave them alone. They're doing phenomenal. I mean, the colony is thriving even more than they were in the bins. So yep, good to have them in there. Then turning the corner, we have the 90-gallon cube, as you saw that we tucked it in here. Of course, there's just a fake plant sitting up top right now. That's probably going to go in the studio room because I don't like to keep fake plants in here. I try to keep it very minimal. I have a little bit of storage down there. That's my moss colony growing down there for future builds. So I always keep that down there and just let it grow and grow and grow. Super humid in there, so it thrives. This tank, I've been doing a lot of contemplation. If the animal happens to come my way, I was thinking about putting dart frogs in here and doing a huge water feature, like a huge waterfall feature. Sorry, not water, a huge waterfall feature down into a water feature in the front, doing some sort of dart frogs, and then, having some sort of aquatics set up in the front. That's going to be awesome, and that'll be a huge build, but of course, that could change literally any day. It just depends what comes my way. As I've mentioned before, I don't buy animals. I strictly get donations and rescues and rehomes and all the things. So whatever comes my way, we'll see. But yeah, that's awesome. And that tank is going to be something really, really special whenever we find a home for it. And since I've already shown you the workstation and kind of the setup there, that is the full animal room. The sanctuary has grown so much in such a short amount of time. It's incredible. And that's the sanctuary room. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and all of your support as of recently. I mean, the YouTube is almost at 100 subscribers. TikTok is almost at 300. Instagram, I think, is almost at 20. So just unreal numbers for every platform. And I can't thank you guys enough. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep doing great things, and we're going to keep expanding. If you haven't been keeping up with my shorts or my TikToks, I started a Twitch, and I believe in about a week or two, I'm going to start going live every night. When school and stuff start back up, that's going to go down, of course, but I'm going to try to stream to fundraise money for the sanctuary. I want to raise enough to move off onto some land, probably, somewhere else in the South. The goal is to build a huge sanctuary and conservation to, help our nature. And I would really appreciate it if y'all followed the Twitch. It's going to be down in the description, and follow the YouTube, follow all the socials if you can. It really helps. I'm trying to grow these to the point to where we can start making a little money so I can start putting all of that back into the sanctuary and keep giving y'all awesome content and providing awesome lives for our wildlife and rescues. And once more, I wanted to thank my girlfriend and Joey again. They've been the two most supportive people I could ever ask for, dropping a lot of what they do in their life to help me chase this crazy dream. So thank you guys again if you're watching this. And yeah, that's it. And I'll see you next time you board the Ark. Bye-bye.